Be sure to check out my Patreon for weekly exclusive interviews, extra content on VEVE and OMI, and building generational wealth, as well as money management tips from experienced whales. Yo, what's going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we are back with another VEVE and Ecomi video. And this one, we're going to be checking out a little bit more of the interview. This should probably be the rest of the interview. We're going to check it out, see what else is dropped in here, what other type of gems is going to be coming up soon here, because they've been dropping a lot of heat. This stuff is very, very valuable information, stuff that everyone needs to know if this is your investment. And yeah, like I've been loving what I'm hearing so far. So yeah, be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and let's just jump straight into it.
Well, it's like you said, it's a $200 billion annual industry, which is huge. And the fact that that's starting to move digital in places like, you know, Japan and South Korea, where everyone's just connected, it's going to be big. And it's really, really interesting to see this evolution of the collectibles market. Pretty soon you'll be able to have your little virtual world where you can have your virtual collectibles, which is pretty cool. And I know a lot of people are going to respond to that message. I want to move on to your next feature, which is the Ecomme Vault. So this is going to be data protection, intellectual property protection, usernames, passwords, all of this stuff. And is that going to be again on the card?
Exactly. Yep. So it's all going to be on the card, and the main sort of factor is what I put the card. Yeah, is that so all of the what we're going to do is link all of the access to this data to the private keys, and those private keys are obviously stored on this card. We also have coming up in the coming months a browser extension. So what's going to happen, similar to like 1Password or Dashlane, you're going to be able to have a small browser extension. And sorry, just for those of you who don't know, 1Password is like a password manager. So you come to a website, and rather than entering your details, you can click the 1Password and it will enter it for you. So these services are very, very good. Don't get me wrong, I use them myself at the moment, but they are still fully centralized. And that does pose a risk. You know, I mean, even I still feel a little bit nervous that literally all my passwords are with 1Password. So what we're planning to do is, number one, have a very similar service, but make it decentralized and link all of that data to your private keys. And those private keys are stored on the secure wallet. So when you come to log into a site or try to access some very sensitive information, you're going to use the browser extension, assuming you're doing it on your computer, and then the wallet will actually prompt you to press the button to release that information off the card, or sorry, to access the private key on the card to release that information. So it's a very, very, very secure way that you can store your passwords and your files. You know, we've all got files out there or data that is very, very secure. And right.
You want to know what's insane? Like, it's insane, their vision to me, to see the future, look so far ahead and know where you want things to go, but also still be able to be grounded in what's happening today, what's going on right now, and what type of tools and stuff would be useful for the current ecosystem. So like they did the wallet, the passwords within the wallet, all stuff that can be beneficial today and utilized today. And then they also have this extravagant vision for the future and where things can go then. Like, it's just amazing to me.
Right now, our options for security are you know, on our laptop, or a lot of people use Google Drive or Dropbox. And again, you know, I'm not saying these guys have bad security. It is all very good security, but it's still very much a centralized world. And that's one of really the main things we're trying to do with Ecomme Vault. There is one more layer to Ecomme Vault, which is more of a commercial level layer, where it actually allows people to protect their IP. So, for example, let's say, for example, we've created a product, and that product needs to get manufactured in China. Right now, the way that the plans and the blueprints, and et cetera, are all sent to the manufacturing plants is generally via email or Dropbox. Again, these very, very insecure ways. So, this commercial layer of Ecomme Vault will actually have both parties sign a smart contract at either end. And once that smart contract's signed, which can also be linked in with this card, only then will the access be available. And then at that point, all of the activity around all of those files is recorded on the blockchain. So at no point, when I've passed my sensitive intellectual property over to the manufacturer, it's tracked 100% along the way. So if there's ever any leakage or breach or anything, it's going to be very clear who downloaded that file, when it was downloaded, And in addition, to make it even extra secure, I could actually send this one of these wallets to the manufacturer. So the only way they could access it, or people in their team could access it, is again by pressing the button on the card. So it's not something that you might use to log into something really basic, but it's it's offering another very, very strong and secure level of protection for people to both individuals and commercial companies to protect their data.
Absolutely. For multi-million-dollar patents, you take a few minutes and go through a few extra steps,
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. And so then all this is going to be accessible. All these features we talked about are going to be accessible via an app on your phone.
That's correct. Right? Yeah. The Ecomi app. I can actually give you just a little demo. We've actually just so obviously our secure wallet is hot off the press. Here it is, nice and vacuum sealed. I'm sure we've got our security certificate there.
Nice.
It's still very nice. But we've actually just in the final throes of completing our app before the crowd sale.
So just in the meantime, I'll just show you guys about the hardware. So once you switch it on, it shows you your Bitcoin balance.
Cool.
Yeah, this is our demo card, so there's not much.
Yeah, and you press it again, it goes through Ethereum, press it again, your Litecoin, and so on. And our OMI tokens will also be stored in here as well.
And if I can just jump back, regarding the collectibles as well. So there'll be a part of the wallet in the app which you'll be able to store all of your crypto collectibles as well. Like I mentioned before, some of these, especially if you're a collector and you're collecting ultra rares or even rares or super rares, they have some significant value to them. So same deal with crypto. If you've got like $1 million in Bitcoin, you're not going to store it on Poloniex or Bitforex or whatever. You're going to want to put these somewhere very safe. So, so here's our app. Sorry, the lighting's actually not too good here. I think we've got a bit of a.
You can see it okay.
Yeah. So basically, we've just tried to make it really nice and simple. We've got all the coins on there. Obviously, our OMI at the top, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. And so we've tried to make it very, very easy to help bring people on. So can you see that all right?
Yeah, I can see it okay. And so that's my Bitcoin wallet. And then also, let's say I've got 5 different collectible kitties that will also show up on my app there as well.
Absolutely, yes. So within this section here, so once we've completed the Ecomi app, Ecomi Collect section of this wallet, there will actually be another section in here for your collectibles. And then when you click on that, it will basically list all your collectibles. And at that point, you can send them on or send them off. So,
yo, you want to know what's crazy? They're getting to a level with VEVE and hopefully the VEVE verse and everything. Now, we've saw this big separation in the content, like separation between Ecomi, VEVE, and then the VEVE verse. I'm hoping that they really take this far and really make a consumer-friendly version of this. Like, I hope this is part of what Ecomi is working on as well, because I want to see them be what helps catapult things into the mainstream. Because if they can really innovate a lot in this area, like if they can, like this whole space, if they can really just dominate this entire space, starting with what they've done with VEVE, like it's just going to be so insane. Like it's going to be sick. So yeah, it would be nice to see if they can actually able to pull that off.
So if I go, for example, through to the send, I can go through all the basic send process. But then one of the other sort of security features of the wallet is that before I send it, I'm going to be prompted to first up confirm the balance on the screen. I can't give a live demo at the moment, but confirm the balance on the screen. So the app will say you are sending X Bitcoin to Crypto Lark. It'll also confirm that. So I'll press the button to confirm the value. And then once I've done that, it will say, please press the button a second time to actually send the crypto. So that's just another reason the card is very secure.
Cool. I love the idea of making it just so portable and easy to use. And it looks like just a simple card, but it's actually a very feature-rich card with a screen and all these different things, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, in fact, it's actually the I don't know if you might remember. I'm a little bit older, so I do remember the old Nokia 3110s. The unbreakable Nokia phone. Well, essentially, this is a Nokia 3110, just basically compressed into this very, very tiny form factor.
Nice.
So it has some pretty cool technology in there.
Now you're doing a lot of different things. We have the hardware wallet and the Ecomi Vault and all these different things, and all of it centers around the card. But do you think that's too many features? Do you think you're trying to do too much?
Very good question, one that we actually get asked all the time. And what I like to respond with is that Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will Ecomi. So obviously we have our first products off the production line already. So this is a lot of thing that many people coming into a crowd sale or who are in the ICO space, a lot of people don't have a product. Even in Japan, yesterday walking around, people are just amazed that we actually do have something when we're going into our crowd sale. So this product's already completed. Our Ecomi Collect is already underway in the development, and our other products such as the Vault and Ecomi One are coming out next year. But what I'd like to say also is that the three founders in the company, both David, myself, and Joseph, we are all experienced business entrepreneurs. We've all had numerous businesses. All had numerous businesses ourselves, run teams from small to large, all around the world. So for us, setting up essentially what is going to be 4 different divisions, developing 4 different products, is not a huge ask. It's something that many companies do. It's something that I've done in my previous companies, in my past software development companies. We always have multiple software projects running at one time. We're not just developing one. So we feel very confident that we can produce these products. In addition, they are actually in different areas of expertise as well. So for example, Ecomi One, the majority of our technology is already ready for Ecomi One. There's a little bit of R&D left to do, which is going to happen throughout the end of this year, which will allow us to release it next year. So the hardware side of that is already kind of taken care of, but we don't need to build up another big team. After that, for Ecomi One in particular, it all comes down to the legal side and the regulatory side. So Dave has worked tirelessly to align Ecomi with some of the world's leading legal teams in this space to really help us step through these regulatory hoops that we're going to go through for Ecomi for Ecomi One. So yes, it is a question we get asked all the time, but we do feel very confident that we can produce these products.
Okay, awesome. And what about the token itself? So during the token sale, I will actually be getting the OMI tokens. And so what are those going to do?
That's correct, yes. So the utility of the OMI token is around our dApps, and our 2 main dApps are Ecomi Collect and Ecomi Vault. So we actually have a fairly strong staking model where, for example, in Ecomi Collect, we have something called the Master Collector. And the Master Collector gives you a lot of different access to certain things. So say, for example, a new...
This was 3 years ago, by the way. This was 3 years ago, and we're getting close to getting it maybe this year, from what I'm hearing. So it seems like 3-year time span from when you first hear something is about how long it's going to take for them to actually deliver it. So yeah, that being said, I mean, you can kind of gauge some timelines based on the history of this company.
Collectible series comes out. If you're a master collector, you might get early access, or you might get some free airdrop.
So I would even go as far as to say the VeVeVerse will not be what we want it to be until maybe 2025 or 2024, 2025-ish area. Like, I would go as far as to say that, because that's 3, like, they seem to be able to accomplish a lot of stuff in 3 years. They seem to go hard on things, and it comes out 3 years later. And I don't even think, like, by 2025, that's when I think the world is just going to just start accepting NFTs. That was always my goal, for NFTs becoming more accepted, trusted, and stuff like that. So I was always saying 2025 is around when things should start heating up, to be honest. I never expected VeVe to take off this fast. 2025 was always my number. Like that, yeah. So it'll be interesting.
In order to become a Ecomi collector, you have to do numerous different things, and one of those things is stake a certain amount of coins. A certain amount of OMI tokens. The more OMI tokens you stake, the higher chance you have. There are a bunch of other factors in there as well. So it's not just a money game. It's all about what collectibles you own, the duration you've been in there. So that's one side of Collect, is the staking side. The other side for people who may not be so much into crypto and may not want to do this kind of staking thing, is that all of the collectibles are purchased with the OMI tokens. Yeah, the OMI token is basically the currency of Ecomi Collect. You'll buy a collectible with 1,000 OMIs, and we're trying to make it as easy as possible at our end. Again, for the people who aren't necessarily in crypto, to be able to come in, set up an account, buy some OMI tokens very, very easily with their credit card, and then use those tokens to buy the collectibles. Very much in the same way that when you're playing a game and you can't be bothered grinding through all the levels, so you'll just go in and you'll buy some gems with your credit card, and then within the game you use those gems to buy some extra armor or whatever it's going to do to accelerate you. So it's very, very much the same model as that with Collect. Same thing kind of goes with Ecomi Vault. So people with Vault, people will have the option to either stake, and so they can just stake X amount of OMI tokens based on the features that they want. And then the cool thing is that once they have decided that they don't want to use the service, if that ever happens, they can simply just pull their tokens down and then do whatever they want with them, sell them or convert them. So effectively, they're not really having to pay for that service. They're just having to stake their tokens for the duration of the use of the products.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I like it. Now, what about the actual partners that you have already? Now, I know we kind of talked a little bit about where partnerships might go, but who's actually signed with you to this date, and what are they bringing in? And do you have any venture capital firms that have taken a big interest in what you guys are doing?
So regards to partnership in the Collect, we have signed up our first one, which is Tokidoki. Basically, it's a New York brand. It's now actually a US Italian designer, Simone Lingo, and that's number one. And number two, what we've been focusing quite a bit on is actually the hardware manufacturing. And obviously, it's hard to combine 6 steps into one car. That we do have a stake into the factory. So, in regards to the investment side of things, we have been in the private sale process, and what we have been doing quite carefully is actually finding good partners on board, rather than someone who just want to buy our token for the purpose of just making money out of it. As mentioned, we are a utility token. The tokens are used to purchase collectible, stake in the ecosystem. So that's how we like to see how it works. We have actually spoke to numerous venture capitalists, and we are actually going through that selecting process right now, and that's part of the reason why we're here in Tokyo today.
And some of the other partners that we've brought on board is that we've been very, very selective with our advisory board. As we've discussed, we've got 4 different products, and so what we've done is that when we've assembled our advisory board, we've chosen some very, very key people that are going to really help us bring these products to the fore. So, for example, under Collect, we have a number of really, really good partners. The first one I'd like to mention is a guy called Cam Punia. He's a very long-term friend of Dave's, and he has been in the collectible space for decades, and he is actually responsible for bringing quite a famous card game to the world called Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not sure if you've...
I've heard of it. I've heard of this thing.
What?
Space for decades, and he is actually the first one I'd like to mention is a guy called Cam Punia.
Cam Punia. So they have another Yu-Gi-Oh guy here? I've never heard of him. So they have another Yu-Gi-Oh guy here. Yu-Gi-Oh confirmation.
He's a very long-term friend of Dave's, and he has been in the collectible space for decades, and he is actually responsible for bringing quite a famous card game to the world called Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not sure if you've...
I've heard of it. I've heard of this thing.
Yeah, so this is just one example of the products that Cam has brought to the world. And also Dave has also been responsible for bringing a lot of these collectibles into numerous regions such as China, Asia Pacific, Taiwan, etc. So yeah, people like Cam are going to be instrumental to number one, just help us make sure that we're offering the best collectible products that we can. Some other partners that we've got are some really good gaming firms, such as Red Button Gaming, Pixion, and we're really using these guys as our content providers. This is another way that we are helping manage our workload. So we aren't forming, you know, a massive team of 100 or 200 people in-house. We've actually partnered with these guys to help us create our content. So what I mean by that is we will be working directly with the licensors, getting all of the digital assets, and then we'll work out, you know, we're going to offer this in 3D, is there going to be animation, what gamification are we going to have involved, and then working with our partners in the space. You know, these guys are going to help us create a lot of the actual content and bring it over into the Ecomi Collect app. And this is the same story with all of our products. So, you know, with Ecomme Vault, we have one of our advisors, Paul Adams, owns.
So they basically, they're the middleman just working with a lot of companies. They basically, what this team specializes in is deals. They make deals. They do deals. They specialize in working with people. So that allows them to bring less in-house. As we've seen in recent years, as they progress, they have had to get a bigger in-house team, but they are still kings at basically working with big people outside of just themselves. So that's huge. That's huge. Now that they have this combination of a team that's probably over 100, maybe close to 200 people, and then they're still working with these outside companies as well.
A very, very successful and large IP firm called Everidge IP. And yeah, this pretty much the same kind of story with each of our products. We're partnering with people who are really adding significant value as advisors to really help bring our products forward and make them the best that we can.
Awesome. Now, about the token sale itself, you guys are going to be raising $45 million in total. Is that correct?
22 million is what we're raising.
Where did I get 45 from? Okay, $22 million in total. And 50% of that is going to the public, which is a great number, of course.
Yep.
So that 22 million, how are you guys going to spend it? What's the plan on how are you going to allocate that money out?
Yep, exactly. So just into some rough figures. So around about 50% of that is going to Ecomi Collect. And the reason for that is in the licensing game, the licensing field, whenever you bring a new license on, obviously they don't give it to you for free. Otherwise, a lot of people would be doing it. So we have to pay what's called a minimum guarantee upfront. And that's our commitment to the license company to say that, yes, we aren't just some random people who are going to take your brand and throw it on some random product and put it out there and make money. So, so number one, these minimum guarantees are quite costly. Depending on the brand that you're doing. And, you know, what we're working very hard is to make sure that we get global distribution rights to these licenses, and that we also get the licenses for numerous years. That's going to really, really solidify that the licenses and the collectibles we
The licenses for numerous years, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Have in our app are going to be there for a long time, and that we do, you know, where we can have some sort of global exclusivity. So that's why Collect is around 50% of the product. So we've got the licensing side, and then obviously we're building out the DApp. We've got, in addition to the DApp itself, we've got all of the content that needs to be created. So there's quite a bit going on in that particular product itself. And then for the remaining half of it, the secure wallet itself is already done and off the press. So we've actually funded that ourselves up till now. So I think it was around two or so million is going to be allocated to the wallet, and that really is just covering marketing, distribution. You know, they aren't cheap to produce, so we obviously need some cash up front to roll off a lot of these off the press. Roll them off the press, and then obviously we've got our marketing and international distribution as well. Same goes for Ecomi 1. We need to produce the product as well. There's a small amount of R&D that needs to be done, and the production of the product itself, and then a big portion of that is going into the legal side. So the product itself is done, but we have allocated a lot of our budget for Ecomi 1 into the regulatory side of things, because that's that's really what's going to suck the money on that side of things. And then Vault, same kind of deal, around about 2 million SE app, and then working with a lot of IP license companies, IP companies out there. and just to give you another example of that, so right now when lawyers or legal IP companies send data around, a lot of time they use sort of some proprietary software, and we're working in with a number of IP legal firms to use the software as their sort of standard for sending out around this sensitive IP. So yeah, so the breakdown is around about 10 million for Collect, 5 million for Ecomi One, which covers the product and the legal, and then around 2 to 2.5 million for each of our other products.
That's probably one of the most thorough answers I've ever had to that question. That's great. Well done. Well done. And now, okay.
That just goes to show you how precise about the details that they are. Like they really do watch every single dollar and try to figure out the best ways to utilize their their capital. So that's huge. That's actually major. That's the type of answer that you want to that question from the CEO, because or the CEO and the COO, because they're just not just pulling something out of their ass. They have a plan, and the fact that this is proof that they have followed this plan for 3 years, almost 4 years already. They're following this plan. This interview is so bullish, man. They said things and they meant them. And if it wasn't painfully, I told you all, ever since I came into this project, that's all I've seen from them is they say something and deliver. Now, I always say it, the time frames is not necessarily accurate, but they say something, they do it.
Okay, so when is the token sale exactly, and what is there any minimum or maximum that is involved in the sale?
Yes, so the crowd sale starts on June 30, so we're only a few days away now. The minimum, I believe, this is one of the facts that I probably don't have, is $100. But what we're really encouraging people to do is that if you participate $500 USD or more buying OMI tokens, we're actually going to send you out a free wallet. Which is already worth $180. So I think I might have to fact check this, but I think we are one of the first ICOs that is actually giving away an actual legit product straight off the bat in the crowd sale. So that's really cool, and we're aiming to get these sent out as soon as we can. There is a little bit of lead time on the run, but as soon as people start buying them, we're going to do our best to get them out as fast as we can, so people can get it in their hands.
That's awesome. Dan, David, this has been really interesting chatting to you. I think it's just a really great project overall, and they're doing so many things. You're tapping into markets that are up and coming in the crypto space, like the collectibles market, but then you're also offering a hardware wallet and a fiat gateway, and this is awesome. I really like it. So thank you guys for sitting down to take the time to go over everything with us.
Yeah, I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Let me know what you think about Ecomi and their token sale.
Yeah, so this was an amazing interview. I loved it. I loved every aspect of this. It made me so much more bullish. It made me so much more bullish on the project, man. So much information here, so much stuff that we're seeing that's happening that was said then. And like I said, this solidifies the fact that they have had a plan from the beginning and they're following that plan. There's been some hiccups throughout the plan, but we have also been able to see how they've handled these hiccups. And I couldn't be more bullish. So yeah, that being said, be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace out, homies.